In the meantime, Republican Robert Ortt joins the program now. He's the minority leader of the New York State Senate. So thank you, sir, for coming on. We're going to be covering the Speaker of the House, live comments at Columbia University later this hour. He's calling on the president of that university to resign, day 8 of the protests there. What about your own view on what's been happening at Columbia?
Yeah, there's no question she should resign. The inability to safeguard Jewish students, the determination to make them remote, classes are remote for the rest of the semester, which confirms that they do not believe, even of their own, that they can safeguard these students. It has just been an absolute disaster. They've allowed outside groups. SJP has direct ties to Hezbollah, as well as other terror groups in the Middle East, in and around Palestine and Gaza and the West Bank. They've allowed these groups to basically hijack this university, this campus in New York. And that's why we've also called on the governor of New York, Governor Hochul, to bring in the New York Army National Guard. She's deployed them in the subways to go through people's handbags and purses and all of that. But clearly, I believe they are needed at the university, at Columbia University, if for no other reason than to safeguard Jewish students who are there. But shame on the fact—
Let me ask you about that part specifically for a moment. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm curious about the National Guard part, because why couldn't— we're going to have the NYPD's deputy commissioner on in a few minutes. The New York City Police Department, to me at least, could handle this if they were called in. I mean, the university, it's up to the university on private property to call them in, but why would the National Guard be needed? Couldn't the NYPD just handle it?
Well, the NYPD could handle it, but they haven't been called in. The governor has the authority under her power to send in the Guard, unlike, I believe, the mayor, who could just send in the police department. But the fact is, no one is exercising leadership. This is a failure of leadership from the president to the governor to the president of the university, Columbia University. Nobody wants to tell these students no. Nobody wants to say— these students are not—they're not protesting something that they're not saying free the hostages or end the war. They are literally siding with Hamas, a known terror organization as defined by the U.S. State Department. This is a group that is very similar in their worldview as ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And of course, New York is where 3,000 people lost their lives in 2001, September 11th. Similar-minded group.
Two things here. If one is the Prime Minister of Israel weighing in. I want to play that before we run out of time, and then I want to get to the students if I have time. But here's what Netanyahu, this is just in this afternoon, had to say about these protests on American college campuses. Watch.
This is reminiscent of what happened in German universities in the 1930s. It's unconscionable. It has to be stopped. It has to be condemned, and condemned unequivocally. But that's not what happened. The response of several university presidents was shameful.
Senator Ortt?
I concur with the prime minister. It is shameful. If this was another group this was happening to on a college campus, this wouldn't be happening this many days in a row, and it wouldn't be spreading. This is spreading, as you've outlined in your coverage just this afternoon. So this is no longer just about Columbia or NYU. It's spreading across the country, and it is shameful, and it should be condemned from the White House all the way down. And there needs to be action by elected leaders with the power to act to safeguard these students and send a message that this is not what peaceful protest is, and this is not going to stand on universities of higher learning, so to speak.
Let me ask you one final point about the protesters themselves, because you were talking about what they're calling for and who they're aligning themselves with. When we interview these protesters, I have an example here I'll play for you. I'm just curious what you think of it. 2 Jewish students with completely different points of view, which is interesting. One, which you'll hear, scared, understandably. The other seems to be someone who agrees with the protesters out there, and there have been a number of Jewish students out there with the protesters. So anyway, it's just 2 different points of view. Let me play it for you from Columbia and let you respond. Here it is.
I have never felt more proud to be Jewish and more in line with the values of my faith than when I was being taken out of Columbia's lawns with my hands zip-tied behind my back.
It was extremely hostile. They were threatening us. It was just an awful, horrible experience overall, and I think that it's absolutely ridiculous that they've let this encampment to just go free over here.
Any thoughts on that? I mean, that last point is the points you've been making. The first point's a completely different point, both Jewish students.
Yeah, look, I mean, the irony of the first statement is that she's aligning herself with people, no question, within that protest who do not believe that Israel has a right to exist as a nation state. That is a fact. So however misguided, the great thing about being in college is you have the right to be wrong. You have the right to be, young and silly and whatever. But who doesn't get that right? The university president, the faculty, the administrators who are actually feeding into this. They are adults. They are supposed to know the difference and understand that. So I give a little more leeway to a college student. I give a lot less leeway to university presidents and teachers and administrators who have either fostered this or allowed it to continue.
I want to thank you for coming on, Senator Ortt, but I have to run now. I want to get to some of these other campuses. I think we have some developments out west. We'll cover the speaker later this hour. Thanks for coming on from Albany today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.